Very little unfolded according to plan for the Dallas Cowboys in 2025. Expectations were high, momentum was inconsistent, and the season slowly slipped away as losses accumulated at the worst possible moments. Yet, amid the turbulence, one constant remained undeniable: stability at quarterback. While the Cowboys battled defensive lapses, injuries, and a three-game losing streak, their most important position never wavered. Quarterback Dak Prescott remained available, productive, and committed from Week 1 through Week 15. That consistency was acknowledged league-wide with Prescott's fourth Pro Bowl selection of his 10-year NFL career. On paper, it was a validating honor. In reality, it arrived layered with frustration and unfulfilled ambition. Prescott himself was quick to frame the recognition properly. The accolade mattered, but not in the way outsiders might assume. Individual honors, in his view, carry limited weight when team goals fall short. For a quarterback long measured by postseason success rather than box scores, the Pro Bowl nod was a reminder of excellence without resolution. The Lombardi Trophy remains absent from his resume. And as the Cowboys fight to avoid a second consecutive losing season, Prescott's mindset is clear: the job is not finished. Validation without satisfaction. Prescott did not shy away from honesty when addressing his Pro Bowl selection. While appreciative, he resisted the idea that the honor validated his season. "It's cool," Prescott admitted, choosing his words carefully. But he immediately qualified the sentiment, making clear that validation is tied to wins, not votes. For Prescott, quarterback play is inseparable from team outcomes. Statistics, records, and accolades exist, but they do not override the scoreboard. That perspective reflects the burden carried by franchise quarterbacks. Regardless of circumstances, success and failure funnel toward one position. Prescott understands that dynamic better than most. A decade into his career, he knows how narratives are shaped and rewritten each January. Despite playing at a Pro Bowl level, he believes the Cowboys fell short. And in his own assessment, that responsibility ultimately lands on him. A record-breaking, yet incomplete campaign. Objectively, Prescott's 2025 season was one of the most productive of his career. He surpassed Tony Romo as the Cowboys' all-time leading passer, cementing his place in franchise history. He also tied Romo for the most 4,000-yard passing seasons by a Cowboys quarterback, reaching the mark for the fourth time. Perhaps most importantly, Prescott did not miss a single game. After seasons interrupted by injury in the past, availability became a statement in itself. Starting all 15 contests to this point, Prescott delivered reliability at a time when the roster around him fluctuated. Few quarterbacks across the league combined durability, production, and leadership as consistently as Prescott did this season. Yet, for him, numbers without postseason relevance feel hollow. Records are remembered, but championships define legacies. "I want 17 games." When head coach Brian Schottenheimer and the Cowboys front office confirmed Prescott would start against the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants, the message resonated deeply with the quarterback. Prescott wants a complete season, not 15 games, not managed snaps, all 17. For him, finishing what he started carries personal and professional meaning. Availability is part of leadership. The idea of sitting out was never appealing, especially with meaningful divisional games remaining. Prescott made it clear he would resist any attempt to shut him down. Not out of ego, but out of principle. The season, in his mind, deserves closure on the field. Christmas Day means something more. Prescott's insistence on playing takes on added significance given the Christmas Day matchup. With the world watching on Netflix, the stage could not be larger. "I'm not trying to be away from my family on Christmas if I'm not going to play," Prescott said, framing the decision through personal values. Football, for him, is not just a job. It is a privilege and a passion tied to identity. Playing on Christmas is symbolic. It represents sacrifice, commitment, and gratitude for the platform he's been given. Prescott believes the game itself is part of what makes the holiday meaningful for him. That sentiment resonates in a locker room seeking purpose amid disappointment. Beyond personal milestones, Prescott's motivation is rooted in stopping the slide. A three-game losing streak threatens to define the season's ending. The Cowboys are desperate to avoid entering the offseason on a 5-game skid, a scenario that would amplify scrutiny. Prescott views the final 2 games as an opportunity to reset the narrative, however modest the margin. Winning matters, even when playoff hopes are gone. Momentum, confidence, and pride still carry weight. He wants to finish with 2 wins, not for optics, but for standards. Standards that must survive beyond a single season. Pride, professionalism, and leadership. At 32 years old, Prescott is demanding accountability from the entire locker room. Pride and professionalism are no longer optional concepts. He speaks openly about playing for things bigger than football, family, future, and legacy. Leadership, in his view, is not vocal alone. It requires visibility, effort, and example. That means practicing what he preaches, showing up, competing, taking hits. Prescott understands that credibility is earned daily, especially in adversity. And in moments like these, leadership is tested more than celebrated. A quarterback who shares credit. Despite his 4th Pro Bowl selection, Prescott refused to accept individual praise without deflecting it. He emphasized the collective nature of quarterback success. Numbers are built on protection, route precision, and trust. Prescott specifically highlighted his receivers and offensive line, acknowledging that no quarterback thrives alone. That humility reinforces his standing in the locker room. Teammates recognize authenticity. Leadership, again, shows itself in perspective. The accolade may carry his name, but he insists it belongs to everyone. Frustration with a purpose. There is no hiding Prescott's frustration entering the offseason. The disappointment is evident, but it is not paralyzing. He is determined not to be back in this position a year from now. That resolve fuels his preparation. Prescott understands that commanding a standard requires embodying it first. That responsibility weighs heavier on quarterbacks than any other position. The frustration, however, is constructive. It sharpens focus rather than eroding confidence. Prescott is not retreating. He is recalibrating. One last statement in 2025. As the Cowboys prepare to take the field on Christmas Day, Prescott will be under the spotlight once again. Not because of playoff implications, but because of what he represents. A quarterback who refuses to coast. A leader who insists on finishing. For Prescott, the game is both obligation and gratitude. The reason Christmas is good, as he describes it, that belief echoes throughout the organization. And as 2025 closes, Prescott is determined to end it standing, helmet on, under center, competing until the final whistle. For Dak Prescott, leadership has never been theoretical. It has always been visible, physical, and often uncomfortable. As the Cowboys close another season without postseason relevance, the burden of setting the tone falls squarely on him. Quarterbacks do not get the luxury of hiding in transition years. They become the face of disappointment and the symbol of hope simultaneously. Prescott accepts that duality without deflection. His insistence on playing the final 2 games is not rooted in stubbornness. It is rooted in accountability. The standard must be lived, not explained. Every snap he takes sends a message to younger players watching closely. Effort does not fluctuate with circumstance. Commitment does not expire with elimination. Prescott understands that culture is built in moments when winning is no longer guaranteed. How a team finishes reveals more than how it starts. In that sense, these final games are not meaningless. They are foundational, closing the season, defining the future. When Prescott takes the field in the season finale, it will not change the standings or erase disappointment, but it will define how the Cowboys exit 2025. Finishing with resolve matters. Ending with resistance matters. Refusing to surrender identity matters. Prescott's message is simple yet demanding. The season does not end when hope fades. It ends when effort stops. By choosing to play, to lead, and to compete through frustration, Prescott reinforces what he believes the franchise should represent. The offseason will bring questions, evaluations, and uncertainty. That is inevitable. But when the final whistle blows, one thing will be clear. Dak Prescott did not walk away from the responsibility. He ran straight toward it.